Yes, that's 100% correct. This person says going into work when you can work remote is wasteful, bad for business. Absolutely. The reason why so many of these companies are making people go back to the office is because they still have the physical assets and they need to justify having them, right? They still have the office buildings and the office space and the furniture they still got to pay for that building whether people are there or they're working at home. And so in order to justify still owning the physical assets, they're making people come into work when they could easily work remote. If there's one thing that the pandemic taught us is that the way that the American society and society as a whole, but really talking about the American society here, the way that the American society has historically worked, and I mean has gone to work, has earned a living, the way the American society has historically worked is antiquated in a lot of areas. There are still things that you got to show up to work for, right? You got to show up to work to plant the tree. You got to show up to work to spread the mulch. You got to show up to work to lay the bricks. You got to show up to work to do a lot of things, right? You got to show up to work to perform the open heart surgery. But there are a shit ton of jobs that can and should, quite frankly, be done remotely. The businesses, when they can figure out how to get rid of those physical assets, those office buildings, the space that they buy and lease that they don't need to, when they figure out how to get rid of those, they're going to figure out how to save themselves an absolute ton of money, because you don't need a building full of people working side by side if what they're all doing is looking at a computer screen and handling their job right there and then. They can do it from anywhere in the world. What we've seen with the onset of COVID and the global pandemic that befell us was people shifting away from traditional work roles and away from traditional living. When I was growing up, and you can see this in Saturday Night Live skits, for crying out loud. When I was growing up, living in a van down by the river meant that you didn't make it in life. That you were a bum, so to speak. You were down on your luck. You had to live in a van and you didn't have a house or an apartment or a condo of your own. Now, that's the goal. Why do I want to be locked down? The younger generation is saying this. Why do I want to be locked down to a house where I'm working so I can make the mortgage payment, or a condo or anything townhome where I'm working so I can make the mortgage payment, and then I still have to take time out of my personal life after work hours and on the time that I have off to maintain and take care of this physical structure. And I need this physical structure because I need to live within a certain proximity of the company that I work for, because I need to be able to get in my car every day and inch along the highway in bumper to bumper traffic to get to that employment, that job, that place of employment, when I can do the exact same job sitting in a lounge chair next to a babbling brook. Literally do the exact same work and not have to be anywhere near anybody else, and save the company I work for money by not having to have a building that they have to pay for, not having to have a building that they have to have the electricity on and the water on and the heat on for me to go to. Remote work is the wave of the future. And the more jobs that can be done remotely, the more money companies will save, and the more happy the workforce will be, and I believe the more productive the workforce will be. Happy employees make for productive employees. Did a piece of spittle just come out of my mouth? Jesus Christ, get it together, Tom. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Everything has changed since 2020. Everything has changed. And that includes how we work as a society. Gone are the old ways. That is gone. Now, if you have an internet connection and a laptop and a van, you can do damn near anything from damn near anywhere.